Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the After Listen podcast. I'm your host, Owen Tomko, and Happy New Year, everybody. Thank God 2020 has gone out the window. It is now January 1st, 2021. Hopefully this year is so much better than the last one, even though we're still in the midst of a pandemic and it still hasn't gotten much better. So hopefully that fixes itself in the next couple months. But hopefully y'all had a good night last night, safe night last night. And yeah, so we got college football playoff semifinals today. We already have two games going on right now, not part of the playoff, just two bowl games. It is number 9 Georgia taking on Cincinnati, who's number 8 in the country, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The score is currently 7-7, with Georgia has the ball with 5:08 left in the second quarter. The other game on is number 14 Northwestern taking on Auburn. I don't know where that game's being played, actually. It is being played Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. Okay, so they're playing the Citrus Bowl. That game is currently 7-0 Northwestern. Auburn has the ball, 9:34 left in the first quarter. But I guess really onto the main attraction, really. The college football playoff semifinal games that are today. We have two games today. Number 1 Alabama taking on number 4 Notre Dame, and number 2 Clemson taking on number 3 Ohio State. We'll start out with the 1 p.m. Eastern game, or 1 p.m. Pacific time game, actually. And that's number 4 Notre Dame, who's 10-1, taking on the 11-0 Alabama Crimson Tide, who is number 1 in the country. This is not going to be a fun game for me as a Notre Dame fan. I'm praying that we keep it close and even have a chance to win. Over into this game, 65.5. It very well could be 65.5. That is saying Notre Dame does have to score points. So if we can't do that, I'm taking the under, but I'm going to take the over just because I am optimistic about our offense, and we are underdogs by 20 points. I don't like that. Here's my take on it. It very well could be over 20. There's a reason we're 20-point underdogs here, okay? And there's a reason for that, and that is because we got blown out by Clemson. I gotta read something to you, because this is my uncle actually asked me this question Sunday. So this is just completely off the top of my head. I said something before this, and I said, as for ND, it's a tough call. There's a reason we were 20-point underdogs, and that is because they think we can't compete with a team like Bama after showing what we had last week against Clemson, which is right. They don't think we can compete with Bama, which, yeah. If we play like we did against Clemson, it's going to be way over 20. But I don't think we are going to be very happy about what happened and what is being said to us after that game. So hopefully we'll come with a fire and play like the ND I know. But that's a big risk. If we can't stop the running back for Clemson, if we can't stop the running back for Bama, we lose. But they have one of the best passing attacks in the country. So a lot would have to come together to, 1, win the game, and 2, to cover. So with that being said, the smart thing is to take Bama to cover. But if you want to be a bit lucky, you take Notre Dame. So basically what I'm saying there is, there is a lot of things that have to come together for Notre Dame to even cover in this game as 20-point underdogs. But I do think we cover. I hate to say it, but I don't see us winning. Bama's going to win. They're just dominant. They're unstoppable. They're on a whole different level than Alabama, or than Notre Dame, Clemson, and Ohio State combined. They're unreal. But I think the biggest thing, we're gonna have to score. If we can't score, we lose this game. We gotta score every time we touch the ball. No field goals, no turnovers, no 3-and-outs. Gotta score, and we have to find a way to slow down this Crimson Tide offense. I think the thing that we have an advantage of is we're gonna have a pass rush. If we can get after Mac Jones, he's not a mobile guy. You're not going to see him take off and run for 30-plus yards like Trevor did against us, Trevor Lawrence. But we just got to get after him. If we can't get after him, it's going to be a long day. Got to find a way to stop Najee Harris, running back, arguably the best running back in the country. So if we can slow him down even just a little bit, we have some glimmer of hope. and we have to find a way to play over the top. We got to play basically two high safeties this whole game because of Devonta Smith. We can't be putting our corners, who played very bad against Clemson, we can't be putting them one-on-one on an island with Devonta Smith because they're gonna win. He's gonna win every single time. Um, as for our offense, we got to run the ball. If we can't run the ball and control the clock here, we're gonna lose this game because the best thing you can do against Bama is keep the ball out of their hands because they are gonna score and they're gonna score a lot of points. If we can go down methodically, take 5 to 7 minutes each time, taking the ball, going down and scoring, I'm fine with that. That gives us a very, very good shot. But I mean, Bama's just Bama. I mean, thank goodness we don't have to play a dude like Jalen Waddle as well, who tore his ACL, I think, on the first play of the new season this year. Thank goodness for that. He is a freak of an athlete. We do have to deal with Devonta Smith, though. As for our offense, like I said, run the football. If we can't run the football and convert on third down, we are going to lose this game. So it's going to be up to Kyron Williams and Ian Book. If Ian Book plays like he did last week against Clemson, I think it was last week now, then we are losing this game by a lot. But, honestly, if we could just find a way to exploit this Alabama defense, we got a good shot. I do like our chances, even though I don't see us winning. Over on this game, 65.5, like I already said. I'm taking the over. Bama wins. Notre Dame does cover, though. At this point, covering doesn't matter because that's not part of the playoff and whatever. And by the way, everybody on game day picked Bama, which I'm not surprised. I expected it. Everybody's been down to Notre Dame ever since we got blown the heck out by Clemson, and that is the next game we're actually on to. We have number 3 Ohio State, who is 6-0. Yes, they made it in at 6-0. That's a problem. But you have them taking on the number 2 Clemson Tigers at 10-1. They are in the Sugar Bowl. I think it's the All-State Sugar Bowl, something like that. Yeah. So over on this game, 68. I'm taking the under. I know that's a surprise for a college football playoff game. Ohio State does have a really good offense. They're gonna run the ball very well, but so is Clemson. So I'm taking the under. I think the last game last year, their semifinal game last year, they combined for, I want to say, less than 68. I think they had like 50. Let me look real quick. Clemson Ohio State game 2019, because they played last year. Yeah, so it was 29-23 Clemson last year over Ohio State. So I'm expecting pretty much more of the same. I'm gonna take the under here. As weird as it sounds for a college football playoff game, I'm taking the under. Trevor Lawrence he's still the number 1 quarterback in this upcoming draft class. I did watch tape of him play Miami. He did not look good on third down and short, and he did not look good under pressure. So the key for Ohio State here is get Trevor Lawrence under pressure and make him more human. Okay, like, he's a freak. He's unbelievable. He's an unbelievable quarterback. He's unreal. I've said unreal like 7 times in this last sentence, but I do think you gotta find a way to get Lawrence under pressure. As for Ohio State, get Justin Fields going. That dude is one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the country. When you can get him out in space if you can get him one-on-one on a corner, he's winning that matchup. Good Lord, I can't speak. Speaking a little too fast, I gotta slow down and articulate. But yeah, so over under this game, once I said 68, so I'm taking the under. And the spread of this game is 7.5 in favor of Clemson. I do see Clemson winning, and I do see Clemson covering. I think Clemson wins by more. I think Clemson wins by 10 plus because I think their offense is just too unstoppable. I think Notre Dame has a better offense than Ohio State, and we couldn't do diddly squat against Clemson's defense. It probably has something to do with we didn't run the football, but That's pretty much all of Ohio State's offense. So I do expect it to be a good game. College football playoff games always are, but I think Clemson. Dabo came out and said earlier this week. He said, "If I'm being no hate to Ohio State." He said this in a press conference. No hate to Ohio State, but I had them at 11. I didn't put any team who didn't play 9 or 10 games inside the top 10. I had you guys at 11, and I agree with him. Like I'm entirely agree with Dabo Swinney there. How I would have put them outside the top 10 because they didn't play 9 games. I mean, yes, they're arguably one of the top 4 teams in the country, but if Cincinnati puts a good showing on against Georgia, people are going to be up in arms saying, well, why didn't they get in over Ohio State? And I'm going to be saying the same thing. Like, honestly, I would love to see Ohio State play Cincinnati and see what the outcome is, because I think it'd be way closer than people think. But with that being said, I'm going to take Clemson to win here. So Clemson to win, Clemson to cover, and I'm going to take the under on the 68-point spread. I just think it's going to be a battle. I mean, this has become one of the most heated rivalries in the nation. Even though they don't play each other every year, they've played each other 5 times in the last 6 years or something like that. 5 times in the last 10 years, I can't remember, but they're turned into a rivalry here, and I think Ohio State is going to come back with some fire, especially after what happened last year. Justin Fields missed a read and threw a pick to end the game and end Ohio State's season. Clemson did go on to get beat by LSU last year for the national championship game. So, yeah, I mean, I think wouldn't be surprised if we see a Clemson-Alabama national championship game on the 11th. I'm going to get into some of the games tomorrow. So some of the bowl games tomorrow. And we're actually running pretty good time here, 12 minutes, since I only have a certain amount of games to go into. So the first game we're going to go into is number 25 Oregon taking on number 10 Iowa State at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. This is the Fiesta Bowl, I think. PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Yep, I was right there. Oregon enters this game 4-2 to Iowa's 8-3. Iowa coming off a loss in their Big 12 Conference Championship game to Oklahoma. Brock Purdy threw a stupid interception to cost Iowa State their season. Over under this game's 58. I will take the over. And the spread is 4.5 in favor of Iowa State. I do like Iowa State. I think Iowa State has a very, very good offense. But I'm taking Oregon to upset and win here. Because I think they're just going to be able to... even though there's a very, 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 very big difference in the running game for both teams, I think Oregon runs the football very well. I think they're going to run the football very well. And I do think that Oregon forces a couple turnovers like they did against SC and pulls out a victory, because I think they got to get Brock Purdy into some uncomfortable positions, make him throw interceptions, make him fumble the football, make him make decisions he normally wouldn't make. So with that being said, I will take Oregon to win, Oregon to cover, and I will take the over. On to our next and probably our last game. Arguably the best outside of Georgia, Cincinnati, arguably the best bowl game out here. It's number 5 Texas A&M at 8-1 taking on number 13 North Carolina, who is 8-3. This is being played at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Over in this game 65.5. I'm taking the over. Hard over. North Carolina put up 65 points against Miami in their last game of the year. Absolutely dominated. A&M is definitely going to put up some points. But here's the catch. I'm taking the over, but I'm taking North Carolina to win. I think North Carolina is going to... North Carolina has one of the most explosive offenses on the planet outside of probably Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson. Outside of the top 4, they probably have the most explosive offense in the country. With that being said, Notre Dame did beat them. They beat them 24-17. And Notre Dame's defensive coordinator, Clark Lee, is a descendant of Texas A&M's defensive coordinator, Mike Elko. Mike Elko and Clark Lee, Lee coached under Elko when Elko was at Notre Dame for a couple years before he took the job at A&M, forcing Brian Kelly to hire from inside and hire Clark Lee, which was one of the best decisions he could have made. So you're going to be expecting more of the same schemes from A&M as you saw against Notre Dame. But with that being said, I do think North Carolina is just going to throw for a million. It's funny. I would have thought Sam Howell would have thrown for like 600 yards in that game. They didn't. They ran for 500 yards. They had 2 running backs over 230 yards and 6 touchdowns combined. Sam Howell threw for 211 yards and 2 touchdowns in a game where they won 64-26. And just put that into perspective. As a team who doesn't run the football very well, I mean, of course they run the football very well, but they're not a dominant running team. They're known for their passing. They had 530-something yards of running offense. I mean, it was unreal. Miami just couldn't stop them. It was a bloodbath, and it really was. So I'm going to take North Carolina to win this game. I think that silence is the A&M fans saying, "Oh, we should have made it in over Notre Dame." If North Carolina can beat Texas A&M, that just if it came down to this game, whether A&M got in or Notre Dame got in, if North Carolina would have won, we would have been in anyway. I mean, after they beat Miami, who was number 10 in the country at the time, it just cemented our spot because we held them to 24 points and North Carolina blew Miami out of the water. Speaking of blowing out of the water, Oklahoma blew Florida out of the water, 55-20. I was surprised in that game. Kyle Trask did not look good. He threw 3 interceptions in the first quarter after throwing 5 all year. He looked out of sorts. He was missing his top 4 pass catchers in his tight end Kyle Pitts and 3 of his receivers, including Crivarius Toney, who was one of them. But that's no excuse for how he played in that game. I mean, he played god awful, really, really bad, and I think it showed why he shouldn't have been a Heisman. Well, he should have been a Heisman guy. He threw for more passing yards and had better stats than Joe Burrow after he won, but it just kind of pushed him aside after a while. I think he's still in it, by the way. I think he's one of the finalists, but yeah, so that was embarrassing. But I mean, that's all the games I got for you guys, honestly. The other games going on tomorrow, you have number 23 NC State, North Carolina State taking on Kentucky, which I don't think is going to be a good game. And you have Ole Miss taking on Indiana, who's number 11. I don't know what you want from that, but yeah. So those are my predictions, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm getting you this out at like 10:45. So you still got time to watch this before the college football playoff semifinals kick off. So with that being said, guys, that's all for me. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, don't worry about it. I mean, it's something fun. This is something fun for me to do. It's something I'm passionate about. I love college football. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I just love it. I love it, especially considering I probably want to get into sportscasting when I'm older. I know I've made that decision pretty young, but I feel like I'm built for it. But considering I'm doing this in front of people, so yeah. So thanks guys for watching as always. Hope you guys had a unbelievable New Year, and hope you guys have arguably the best year you've ever had. After how bad of a year 2020 was, I just wish everybody the best, and hope you all stay safe. And that's it for me, guys. Peace.